Hello, I'm here at YCS Liverpool with,
Sam, Pearson.
and what do you play?
I'm playing CyberDragon.
And yeah, it went pretty good for you.
Yeah, I was 6-2 going into the final, or 7-2 going into the final round, and I lost on stream, which is a bit sad. But yeah, I did better than I was expecting, but I played against SABC.
So then
Yeah.
we'll have a look at your deck.
Okay.
So obviously 3 CyberDragon, and then 3 of these as well. This is probably the best monster in the deck, in that it allows you to search out any machine and get your plays going, and it's pretty central to the roughly 8k damage OTK you can consistently get out. So yeah, and then 3 dry, which is just standard really. It's the best CyberDragon that counts as a name in the grave, and yeah, it's pretty good. It allows for a load of rank 5 plays with Nova and Zenmayo. But yeah, it's great. 1-2, he's garbage, but he's the only other one that counts as a CyberDragon in grave. So it's just keeping the names up. Then 3 Galaxy Soldier, which is fairly self-explanatory. It's a brilliant card. It's easy Nova, easy Infinity, easy whatever. It's so easy to make plays with this card, and the deck doesn't work without them, so it's not a budget build, unfortunately. And then 3 Jizurikiri, which is searchable in the deck. You can make Fortress off it, special summon it, if you've got a Gamma Seal out as well. It's just a brilliant card to have, and definitely play 3. And then just 1 Gamma Seal just to keep the Kaiju numbers up. I'm actually playing quite a lot of hand traps, as I much prefer going second. Most of the top decks, ABC, Blue Eyes, BA, and Metal Foes are the worst matchup, but those 3 initially prefer going first, and if you have enough hand traps to deal with, their first turn plays, and it lets you come out with a plus, then it's great. So to that end, I'm also running 2 Veilers, because it's also a Galaxy Soldier target for discard to special summon, and this card because it's just brilliant at the moment. It stops Scales, it stops Union Hanger, it stops everything really. It's great. And then just Turtle, because it's a great card. And that does it for the monsters. For the spells, you've got 2 Cyber Repair Plant. I did used to run 3, but it does clog a lot if you only run 3, and 2 is the best number because it's got that hard once per turn clause. It is searchable, so it's not like you're going to be without it for a while. So definitely stick with the 2. And then 2 Desires, because 3's far too much. I quite often sided 1 out if I knew I was going second. But it's up to you. 2 is the best number for a pot of Desires either way. Next was 2 Instant Fusion. That's an easier way to make Infinity as well, because obviously Panzer Dragon's a target. And then you can go into Norden as well and make Castell, Abyss Dweller, Rafflesia if you fancy running that kind of variant, but definitely run 2 rather than 3 because it clogs again. Twin Twisters, because you shouldn't really fear back row, but it's a solid card and it helps load up the grave for Repair Plant as well, so definitely stick with 2. And then 1 Regeki, because sometimes dealing with established boards can be a problem if it's a Tolkien deck, but just Kaiju their Ghost, their Void Ogre, and then Regeki and you should be fine. Then 1 Foolish, just to send either Core to get a free CyberDragon, or make Repair Plant live, or send Turtle if you're really desperate, but standard stuff. And then next are the traps with 1 Solemn Warning, because if you ask to go second, if you win the die roll, opponent obviously clocks onto things. So sometimes if they force you to go second, it's useful. But you can make an OTK with this deck with such little resources that running a few traps just as a safeguard is a pretty solid choice. So there's also 2 more strikes, 1 vanities, because Infinity and Vanities is it's unkaijuable, and it's just a brilliant card because you're obviously not going to pop it with detaching for Infinity as well. And then 2 cards which I didn't really like too much were the 2 anti-spells, but I was expecting a few more pendulum matchups than what I actually had, and as they are the deck's hardest matchup, I found doing that wasn't... not having it would hurt more than not having it, or whatever. Then we're on to the XCYZs. So you've got 2 Infinity. You don't really make the second one very often, but it is a card that you want to have as a backup, just in case your first one gets dealt with. It shouldn't last much longer than a turn anyway, if you get this out, and you don't really need to go into the second Infinity because you can OTK with Nova the next turn. But yeah, 2 is the best number, I feel. But I play 3 of these because this is actually the best card in the deck. This is a single card which creates OTKs, makes up the field, lets you swarm. It acts as a bait for strikes, because no one expects the first effect to let you special summon a CyberDragon. But it's just brilliant. Deck would not live without this. Infinity is great, but it's not what makes the deck this is. Then I played this on the stream against a BA player. I unfortunately lost that matchup, but this did win me the first game. It's just... it gets around the machine-only requirement for dry, and with anti-spells and other people playing anti-spells, there's going to be a lot of set stuff, and it's such a good card. And it can pop set monsters, but no one really does that now, but it's good. Then Pleiades, which I didn't actually summon at all today, but you can do a bit of cheese with kaijus and bouncing it back to hand, and then attributing another thing, and just attacking over the Gamma Seal. That's always pretty fun, but it's not really the optimal play most of the time. And then 1 Volcasaurus, just in case you can go for game with a bit of burn. You don't really see it very often, and it's not really often that there's a very good chance to run it, but it's a solid card, and it's just a nice backup at times. And then just 1 Castell for the Northern instant fusion target, just to make sure it's not dead. Then for the rest of the fusions, I run on Cyber End, because someone always strikes the Nova. It happens every time, people never learn, and just getting a free 4k beta is worth 1 spot in the extra, even if it is really tight. And then another MVP of the deck is 3 Chimeritic Fortress, which against ABC you need 3, and it's just such a good card to get rid of really established fields against ABC. The amount of salt I got by either going into this using their Gigeigen or their ABC Buster because they forget this card exists, or something like that, it's just brilliant. Honestly, the only thing that makes the deck viable at the moment, especially with so many people siding anti-light machine stuff. And then 1 CyberDragon for easy Infinity and Nova spam, and that's 15. I'm not running Rampage because I find that Power Bonds and Overload Fusions can be a bit of a brick at times, but the card is brilliant in its own right, and maybe with some Eidolon stuff it'll be great, but I don't think it's great at the moment. And then the side, we've got 2 DD Crows, which didn't honestly put in as much work as I was expecting today. I didn't see many Blue Eyes players, and Blue Eyes is an easy matchup anyway, even without this, because their turn 1 plays don't tend to be too explosive, and it's nothing a Kaiju doesn't fix. So interrupting their plays with their Graveyard and Whitestone of Ancients, or Legends even, it's not as good as you'd expect. But it's a decent hand trap, and if you go in second, definitely play it. There are a lot of Lightsworn players, so this is definitely a good card for against that. But Lightsworn players are generally... they're okay, but not amazing, a bit bricky. Then 2 Flying Seas for ABC and BA and other Exceed decks. It's not as good against BA as most people think now, because a lot of people are just running Vanity's Fiend, so they'll just tribute it off anyway, and then you've wasted a card and you can't do anything for the rest of the game. And then you just have to run this now. 2 cherries and just bust the dragon as target. I didn't see these at all this weekend, but it's a solid card, you have to run it. And then more ABC hate with System Down. It's kind of standard really, you have to run it now. And then 2 MST for Demise or particularly trap heavy decks, maybe against ABCs, but it's just there. And Vanities can be a problem as well if they consistently open it, but this just outs that. And then because I couldn't think what else to run against Metal Foes, just that. We've already got Anti-Spell, and it's just a bit of a troll card really. I didn't use it to its full extent, and I lost the only Pendulum match I saw, so it's not as good as people are hoping it out to be. And then just Iron Wall, because there are a lot of White Swan decks, there are a lot of Dark Claw decks now, and there definitely will be in the next week or so. And it hurts ABC as well, so it generally replaces Anti-Spell whenever you get the chance. But yeah, that's it really. CyberDragons are good. Yeah, it's great. 7-3 overall. So I just missed out on top, I think. But
Yeah. So good luck in future.
thank you.
And bye.
Bye.